Okay, yep, it's recorded now.
Okay.
Okay. So hi everybody. You'll be seeing this in a few weeks from now. My name is Tayo. Actually, if I have to be honest, so my full name is Timmy Tayo Bernard Akini Bosum. Um, Currently reside in Houston from Detroit, Michigan. I've been an engineer for like the past decade or so. Um, so just working on the auto industry field as a supplier. Started investing about a decade ago as well. Once I started making a little bit of money, I was like, oh, shoot, well, let me start investing. I kind of always thought investing was cool. Uh, Mainly the stock market. It just amazed me as a child when I used to watch movies about the stock market, Boiler Room, Wolf on Wall Street. Well, much earlier than that, Wall Street, Money Talks. Uh, Never Sleeps, and all those like just always had me fascinated. Like, because I used to be, I think I got even more fascinated like the movie Limitless. And I really wanted to know more about it because it was just like it made me intrigued about how people can use the stock market as a way of like creating wealth. In my opinion, I always felt like, for me personally, I was seeing people always talking about real estate, but for me, it was like the people who I thought had the most capital, I always felt like it was the people in the stock market. Even though I
Mm,
didn't even understand it, I just always felt like the stock market was where the ultra rich kind of played in. Um, and so then I started investing and um, didn't really start really learning it until like 2016, 2017 time, around that time frame. That's also when I started trading. But I actually started trading first with Forex and then kind of transitioned over to options because I was trading mostly a lot of uh, stocks on the Forex platform. So realized I was like, I kind of like this. I kind of like wanted to get a little bit more into it. So that's what made me got into to stock options. Uh, Took me a little bit more time to grasp it because I didn't really account for Greeks and how that played a factor. But once I kind of understood the Greeks, everything just kind of like fell in line. And then so I've been trading options really pretty decently for like at least like been good at it for like at least like a year and like 3 quarters, I would say, because I was losing the beginning of 2018, so 2019. I mean 2018. So it was like um, it just made me start thinking like this can really change my life and change other people's lives. So I just dove in and wanted to just become a master of it. Actually, I kind of like the whole financial market in general. So I kind of wanted to like know about all of them. So that's what made me just start like I'll look up stuff about not just uh, stocks or forex, but I would just learn about like just economics and markets in general. Just to like I always felt like everything I learned would kind of give me a little bit of an edge. So
yeah, pretty cool. I like the fact that you kind of got into it pretty early and um, you already have been exposed to different facets of it as well. So I'm gonna introduce myself as well. I'm Cindy Joseph. Um, well, Dr. Cindy Joseph. I am a licensed psychologist in Houston, Texas. I own a practice called Soleil Psychological and Consulting Services. I am of Haitian descent. I hail from Miami, Florida. I currently live in Houston, Texas right now with my husband. And we got into the stock market together just off of a venture. Like we were trying to save for a house and we just needed some place to like park the money. And that brought us to a bank and the bank started telling us like our different options and it blew my mind. And so that drove me into a whirlwind of me wanting to learn more about finance and how to better use my money and how to better save and those type of things. And the transition has been amazing because it really helps me to know how to function within my business and then also in my personal life. And so I'm really motivated with learning about the stock market, learning about stocks, learning about um, interest and all those different facets of finances. I think I tell my friends all the time, like, I'm never going back. I cannot undo this. Knowledge is so much. wealth, that it's amazing. And so I've started to kind of talk to friends and family and try to help them to better understand how we can be more responsible about our money and we can think about it differently. As a psychologist, I often think about the cycles that we go through as a culture and how we think about money and how we use money and how it sometimes like kind of captivates us, like locks us in into one place, and we have to kind of break out of that. The mindsets that we have about financial wellness, what it means to be in debt or not to be in debt, whether or not we aspire to get a home or get a trust or whatever it is, like whether or not that's within our sphere of thinking, is really, really fascinating to me. Being in the stock market, of course, tested all of everything I learned about psychology in a sense that, you know, you get excited, you feel frustrated, you feel like hopeless, and then you get hopeful again. And definitely has been an emotional roller coaster. And so, kind of been taking like a more trained mind as far as like what that means when you're in the stock market and how to like curtail like your emotions so that you can move in a way that's beneficial and it's strategic, and it's emotionless, like you don't have to put as much emotion in it. So that that's my story on the stock market.
It's just funny when you said that. I kind of got it's like a chart of like emotional.
Yeah,
It basically says when it starts off, it's like a stealth phase, and then institutionals come in. It's like an awareness phase, and then when it goes, what happens is that you get like a first sell off, and then the media attention gets in there, and then enthusiasm builds up to the public. So it's like it goes from enthusiasm to greed.
yeah,
So the
that
public
greed
is
kicks in.
speeding up. So when it's pumping up, the people are getting in like, oh, I want to get in and I want to get in it. I want to get in it. So they get this delusional, and then next the stock market starts dropping, and then people will be like, okay, it's gonna come back, but it doesn't. And as Mark says, they left holding the bag, unfortunately.
Yeah, like similar to psychology, like I'm constantly thinking about lessons learned. So if I made a mistake, why did I make that mistake, and how I can like move forward differently the next time. Without those lessons, I don't really feel like I'm progressing in my growth with the stock market. Um, so harnessing those emotions and understanding why, mixing the two is vitally important.
Yeah, I think if you have a methodological approach to it, I don't know if I said that right, but like it's like once you understand, it's like it should be almost like an imprint in your brain, like I lost because of this, and
Hmm.
almost like not trying to say it should be like a traumatic experience for you, but it should be something that piece of data that's like now imprinting on your brain, and next time moving forward not to do that kind of mistake again. And
Yeah, we write things down like, okay, we have to check this, this, and this before we get into a trade. We have to check this, this, and this before we even think about getting out of a trade. We were just talking before we got on here, like about trailing stop loss, and because it helps it to ride as it goes up and goes down. Like, where
Mhm.
is your temperament with it? Those type of things are like really helpful to know when you're in this, and it helps to like take the emotion out of it and let it do its
Exactly.
thing, for sure. Yeah. So this video is about why we're in the stock market. Why do you think that you'll have some longevity with being in the stock market?
uh Honestly, I love this. I really enjoy it. It's like there's so many different attributes about the stock market that like fascinates me. One is it's I think the biggest thing about it that means the most important to me is that stock market doesn't care where you come from, who you are, what you are. It doesn't care. It's gonna do what it's gonna do regardless, because it's about businesses that are making a profit or making some type of change in the world. And if you know how to pick the right businesses, you will win. And can't nobody take that from you. Like when you develop that skill, it's a skill that you could like own and master every day. You get better at it every day. You get
Mhm.
better, have a better year every year.
Mhm.
And you master it, and then you just pass it along to your kids, and they will pass it on to the generation after that. You got to make sure, like, you have to make sure this follows through to every generation. Because if I could be a ghost, I
Mhm.
would come back and haunt my grandchildren if they lose
Hunt.
my wealth. All that hard work I did, I would come back and
Yeah.
come for them and hunt them for real. But no,
Hmm.
I just, it's like, that is one of the things that I just love about when being involved with the stock market, is that can't nobody take this from you. I think it's
Mm.
also the biggest equalizer. I think it will be the biggest. Um, is and I believe in it so much because it's something that's like we never even had a chance to exposure to. So just imagine when we really own and we really start mastering this, and we start mastering this as a community. It
Hmm.
the the way it would propel us forward, I just can't even imagine. Honestly, at times,
Yeah.
I have. It was like I remember this. It just always resonates with me. Is that Mark was saying, I see a people that has been at the bottom completely topple over the entire system, and when he said that, I mean, I'm not, I'm not on the stage. Luckily, hope, because honestly, when saying stuff like that, I'm
Yeah.
actually like,
Pumped.
yeah. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, it's
Yeah.
profanity, like all types of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just gets
Yeah.
me geeked,
It's
and I look
it's
at
a
it.
shame we watch his videos at night because I'll be crunk. I'll be ready. I'll be so pumped in the middle of the night. Just like what we do next. Like what's next?
Right. And so, and it just makes you want to be like, you're some like disciple, you want to pass the message on everybody. So like now
Mhm.
it's like I'm passionate about the stock market. I'm like passionate about it. I believe in it. I think it's the biggest equalizer. I think it's a tool, a resource for us to use to really level the playing field. So for me, that's one of the many reasons why I just can never see myself never being involved in the stock market. I think it's just the best part, I would say, about what they created, that they did not really understand what they created. They do not understand what they just did. And now that we are in this and we have people like us to teach us that we can really trust, it's it's gonna be game changing. So
Yeah. Uh, I just got chills just hearing you talk because I am reflecting about how I was told a story about how we were the items on the stock market to be sold and bartered, and people were betting like whether what how much life that we would be able to like give labor for. um that like the reversal of that, like the how it all turns over, and now we're in the stock market and benefiting, like that roundabout situation is like crazy to me, because I think all people of African descent have like experienced so like the bottom of it all, and to finally find ourselves kind of climbing and trying to reach for the top, like an incredibly beautiful story. And Mark and Jolene have led us um, to greater heights, if not right now like financially, but definitely mentally. Like you can feel that you can do anything now that you're in this.
right, it's almost like it's funny that he says like he steps into the matrix, and I'm like, man, that's how I felt when I've been like tuning into the shows, and this has just it's been growing and growing. It's like I feel like it's like an underground movement in a sense, and I do have to say that what I do love is that it is kind of like hiding in plain sight, and it does
Mhm.
make me a little nervous, but I love it because it's like that's also like I really feel like they were underestimated, and because of that, like we have all these tools to our resources. They underestimated us for so long, and then we have it's a like what you were saying is like a bit of poetic irony in there, is that to use this a system that was used against people of African diaspora, like to use that, and
Yeah,
now to use that same system for our benefit, it's gonna be mind blowing.
it's incredible. Yeah, yeah. What's the most important trait you think you must have to sustain yourself in the stock market?
Uh, and mine is discipline. I live by the motto discipline equals freedom. Like completely. I think discipline is what will make you successful in anything you really want to do personally, honestly. Um, because and the reason why I say that is because I didn't have discipline for so long. So many I get frustrated with myself too at times because I tend to wonder where I could have been if I did take this more seriously 10 years ago. Like
Don't
I
think
was
about it
just
too
playing.
hard.
Yeah, but it is just like, and I was hearing some things I didn't really have anybody that could show me, but I did have like some older cousins that was like invested in the market, and they don't trade or nothing like that, but they do really well long-term investing, and they will give some advice and stuff. And it's just, to me, I kind of wanted to figure out how do I at least, like, I wanted to still enjoy myself. I still wanted to um get some nice fancy stuff. I still wanted all those great um, monetary items, like items that I didn't really need, because half of that stuff I don't even think I ever wore when I think about it now. And then so it's like I just think about all this, the aggravated amount in my head, just subconsciously. How much have I spent that I probably have never utilized, and what that could have done for me? So now I just live by the motto discipline. Once I've seen the results of me being disciplined, um, it keeps me going. Oh,
Come here.
yeah. So I think that's the one trait. And FYI, if anybody's watching this, hopefully y'all are. Uh, there's an audio book, but you can listen to it on Apple Music. It's called "Discipline Equals Freedom" by Jocko Wackman, something like that. But really, it's a former Marine guy, and he just talks like a drill sergeant. So it's really dope thing just to get your mind right.
Yeah, so um I've been in school for a good bit and I think about that grind all the time. Like it took like real tenacity, dedication and hustle just to get through it all. And when we first got into this, I swear to you, we were waking up on Saturday mornings, watching videos 3, 4 hours on a Saturday morning as if we're still in school. My mindset around it is like, I'm going to study this as if I'm still in school. I'm going to have late nights studying, early morning studying. I'm going to, it's like, because the truth of the matter is, with like either one of our professions, we probably spent X number of years studying it. And then now we're eating off of it for the rest of our lives. So I apply that same thought process with the stock market. I'm going to spend, if it's going to be 6 months, a year of like going hard and just learning everything I can learn until it feels normalized to me and I don't have to like pick at every little thing to grab onto knowledge. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna concentrate on it and I'm gonna hustle it through um, until I get it, and then I'm gonna live off of it for the rest of my life. And I say that because I know there's a lot of people like working and doing stock market at the same time, and it feels like hell. Like, think of, but if you think about it in a very concentrated form, like, okay, if I go hard for 3 months, if I go hard for the next, and then, to be honest, we've been at this with Mark since what, June to July, so it's been at least six months. If I go hard and give it everything I got within the next X number of period of time, I'm going to eat off of this for the rest of my life. So I don't get caught up and it's too much. I don't get caught up and I don't get caught up in any of that. It's just do it, grind, come out, let's go.
Facts. I think that's very important. Like that's one of the most critical things to being a trader or an investor in general, is having those resources available for you to just constantly learn from and keep adding till it becomes second nature to you. It just becomes
Nature.
a habit to you. And once it becomes a
Mhm.
habit, you'll realize you'll start reading resource reports easier. You'll start researching stocks easier because you know what to look for now. You know what you need to look at. You, bam, bam. You go to the page, snapshot. Okay, I'm gonna look at the financials. Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna look at the press releases. Cool. Then I'm gonna look at the investor relations. Cool. What they said in that earnings. Cool. What's that growth looking like? what's their emote looking
Mhm.
like. So once you develop that, it becomes so much easier to like just go through that. But you need to put in the work first to get to that point. And if you don't put in that work, to me, I think I've been posted before. I think the market, what you get from the market, is going to be a reflection of what you put into the market. And so if you're not putting the right amount of work to get to that point where you start understanding this, where everything becomes just a regular language to you, you're not going to get to see the results you want to see.
Yeah. So last question before we close. What is your what is your why? I know we kind of alluded, went around, talked about a couple of things, but what is your why? At the end of all of this, what do you do it for?
I do it for. I feel like it's gonna sound so cliche, but it's like I do it for us. Like I I
Mhm.
don't know why I really became the way I became about our people, but like I just did. You know, grew up in Detroit, predominantly Black American city. Um, but in my house, it was more Nigerian culture or Yoruba culture, if I had to be more specific. And then, but even though I kind of like had a different, well, not a, I wouldn't say a really a little bit of bullying at first because I was Nigerian, but eventually those same kids who were bullying became some of my best friends in my neighborhood growing up. Um, and it made me just have a deeper appreciation because I would notice that like they didn't know it, but they would do certain things that kind of remind me of like me and my family members. And there was just certain things that I just would pick people on, like the way we just move, the way we kind of move with the rhythm, the way we just kind of do things, the parents are. Like you just see a certain lot of similarities, and then one of the funny things like I think about is like my mom would say like if I ask her something if I don't do it the right way, like my mom or dad would be like, "Am I your mate?" Which is basically like from from Americans, it's just like like do I look like one of your little
Am I?
friends? Like what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
is I'm just like
Equivalent.
and they say it the same way, and then so it's like as I got older and I started like getting hip to like Caribbean cultures, and then it was just like I fell in love with Carnival. I mean, and it's just a made or it just made me have a deep appreciation for our cultures. Like no matter if it's Caribbean, if it's South from the Southern culture, if it's New York, dead at like those all those things. I just love all about us. I just love us, and I my why is because I really think this will make the biggest change in all our lives, and of course, it's because I want to retire my parents. They grind so hard. Coming from Nigeria and being here, they really grinded so hard, and being like a first gen immigrant and being born here, but like also knowing like how it is in Nigeria. I feel like I'm in a crossroads because it's like I'm in Detroit. I grew up in Detroit, and I can see how we kind of didn't get the respect. And then I think about Nigeria, and I see the same type of thing with Nigeria's not getting respect, but it's also coming from us. And I don't feel like we could change it until we have the capital to do those type of things to really change it. And um, and so my why is just because I want to make a change. I want us to be in a better position. Um, and it's like taking a stance the same way Malcolm X or Dorothy Height or Salta Shakur or any of them like took a stance. That's how I feel about it. Like I'm taking my own stance in my own way, the way I
Mm,
can, and that's why I do this.
man, I couldn't agree more. And I probably have like an identical story. I'm also first gen, Haitian American, picked on Haitian booty, what they call us, African booty scratcher, all that. when we were children. Went to an HBCU, loved it,
That's the only.
but
I
I did
wish I
that on
did that.
purpose. I could have went to any school I wanted to, but I wanted to study Black psychology, and I became a psychologist only, not only, but mainly.
Is everything okay? It's
Sorry, I didn't catch what you were saying.
no, I didn't say anything. I was just saying I made sure everything was okay. It looked like it was freezing for a second, so I wanted to make sure the quality was still okay.
Okay. Yeah, so I became a psychologist because I had a professor who was talking about like this bridge. He was like, one day there's this person on the beach, and they keep seeing that people are drowning, and he would go and run out into the beach and grab the person and save them from them drowning and bring them to shore. As soon as he got on shore, there was another person drowning, and he would run out and save that person and bring them onto shore. And that kept repeating itself and repeating himself and repeating itself until he realized, he looked up and there was a bridge that was broken and people kept falling off the bridge. And so he said to himself, like, I could either keep saving these people one by one, or I can fix the bridge and just
I like that.
save the system, and for me, like with Black people, I have such a huge passion for it that I literally studied African psychology, multicultural psychology, because I want to treat my people, because I'm trying to fix the bridge and not just people. And coming into this, like even with my practice, I have it's one of the reasons why I kind of connect with Mark, and in his spirit is he have a spirit of giving. I don't know how to function without giving back. So even in my business, I always, every quarter, I try to give a portion of my, what I make to like a Haitian organization or the veterans and so on and so forth, like causes that I like, because I just don't understand how to function without giving back to my people. And this whole stock market piece for me is about a greater vision where I'm continuing to fix that bridge, but did on a more larger scale. Mark says dream big, and my goal is to be a philanthropist and really just do big things and really good things for the community and continue to educate the community as often as possible. Um, so my why lies in that, but of course individually I also want my family to be good. I don't want us to want for anything. I want to set us up right. I want us to have a trust. I want us to know how to deal with finances a lot better, as well. But it's bigger than myself, and my why is not an I, it's a we for me as well.
Nice. I like that. But if I had to be a little honest though, I do have like there is a selfish part of the why for me,
Yeah,
and you want that financial freedom because
yeah.
I want to go to sleep when I want to. I want to wake up
Hmm.
when I want to. I want to work on what I am passionate about. One thing I'm passionate about is connecting Black people together. Like that's I've always been about. Like even my businesses, like throwing events, Afro Caribbean events, was just always about bringing people together, just to like understand and see the similarities between us. Traveling because I wanted people to experience different cultures and see different parts of the world that we are similar, but there are differences, and those differences are beautiful. So like for me, that's what I want to do. I want to travel. I want to see different more Black people around the world. Um, and I just want to have fun doing it. I want to be able to just build with people, and I think it really shocked my system. I think when I had got COVID early in the year, and there was a time I actually really thought I was gonna die. Like I really thought like one night the pain was so bad I just fell asleep. I just passed out. I just woke up and like was breathing hard because I was surprised that I was alive. And after that, I don't know, it's like a switch just went off, and
Hmm.
I just was like everything was just like extra intense where I just was like I had to put every focus, every energy, every mental, every fiber, every cell in me to get to my financial freedom.
Hmm.
And that's just how I've been moving ever
Yeah,
since.
yeah. It's independence, like complete independence. where you don't really have to answer to anything and you do what you need to do for you. Yeah. Wow. Incredible story for sure.
Was that the last question?
Uh, I can check.
Because I guess we could, if it is, then I guess we could probably also like round up like what do we want people to take from this,
Okay.
and then you can start this one off actually because
Yes, sir. Um, what do I want people to take from this? I would hope that it helps them to, think about their own why. And if they haven't thought about it, I'm big on goals and writing it out, setting out your future, putting out in the atmosphere what you want for yourself. Um, that if you don't have that, life will push you where it wants to push you. You're going to be very reactive and not proactive. It's your why that gets you up in the morning, that helps you to feel motivated about the actions and the goals that you have for yourself. If you don't have it, literally, however the day wants to go, that's the way you're going to go. Um, so I hope this information really helps to get people thinking about their own why and um, putting that forth in their minds, writing it down, making it plain.
yeah, I agree. And they have to find that why that's bigger than everything else.
Hmm.
Your why got to be bigger than the fear of failure. At the
Yeah,
end of the day, it
yeah,
has to because you need
yeah,
to keep you going, and that's what's going to keep you going.
yeah.
Is constantly like, I mean, failure can be scary. I get that, but like, why you doing it? If you never get a chance to do it, like, and you just never know that if you could have did if you put in the work, like, that's scarier to me. Because at this
Mm,
point, if like you want to live life, and if you're not really living life, are you really alive? That's how I really feel about it. I feel
mm,
like you're just moving through the motions of life, and that's not how I feel like life is supposed to be lived.
mm. Yeah. The fear part is the part that makes it worth it. I mean, to me, that's victory that you were able to see something, conquer it, and was able to overcome it. That is worthwhile.
Yeah, you definitely get like some type of like what's that? The endorphins or
Hmm.
dopamine to feel high. Like I can't even imagine how I feel to be able to tell like to be able to go to my like not like I have a bad job, but I just don't want to do it. And it's because I want to work on more passionate things that I'm passionate about. And but to be able to just, you know, put in my resignation and be able to just have that option to leave when I want to is
Hmm.
gonna be an incredible feeling.
Yeah.
It's an incredible feeling. And then so I can't even imagine how it's gonna feel when you get to lead other people to that feeling and you just look back and there's like a whole bunch of us just
Yeah.
like well, see you corporate America. This is the corporate come up. Or
Yeah.
come up
Hire someone else.
economics, whatever how it is, however, and that's what's dope about it. Is like once we all get away from this, we can do it the way we want to do it. We ain't gotta do it the way they've been doing it. We ain't gotta do the system that they've been. We could create our own. We could do our own thing, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
excited about.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be right there behind you, Tayo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that was it. So I
I
guess we
think we
could
can
end it here. All right, I'm gonna
close
stop
out.
the recording. All right.
Okay.